So after a couple of weeks, well, probably almost after a month of not having really any update to bring to y'all about Quawan Charles, I just happened to type his name into Google. And yesterday, and I'm currently recording this on December 23rd, 2020. And yesterday, early yesterday, some more additional information has come out. This is actually going to be my first time listening to it. Apparently, there is some recordings that have been put out there that basically gives more evidence that Janet Irvin, that palm-colored witch, was indeed the last person to see Quawan Charles alive. So now it's even more evidence leading us to pretty much now say that her and her son were the ones that were responsible for his death. Now, I wish I could bring y'all news that she has been captured, but unfortunately, that still is not the case. And like I said, with them still being on the run, I have no doubt in my mind that they were the ones that did this. But I'm going to go ahead and stop talking right now and play this news clip that's about a little over 3 minutes long and see what they're talking about.
This morning, in the death of a Louisiana teenager that we first reported on last month, 15-year-old Quawan Charles disappeared October 30th. His body was found a few days later in a sugarcane field about 20 miles from his home. His attorneys for the family say the newly revealed audio implicates Janet Irvin, who was allegedly the last woman seen with him. Those attorneys calling for her arrest.
Yes, I should have called the cops. I should have went further.
Attorneys for the family of Quawan Charles say this audio, obtained exclusively by CBS this morning, is Janet Irvin admitting to a private investigator she did not call police right after she realized Quawan ran away from her home. Irvin and her 17-year-old son are allegedly two of the last people to see the 15-year-old alive.
I get off of work at like noon Friday. So we go out to Baldwin. We pick him up.
Surveillance video appears to show Irvin picked Quawan up outside his father's house in Baldwin, Louisiana on October 30th, the same day he was reported missing by his parents. In the audio recordings, Irvin's son tells a private investigator he and Quawan did drugs at Irvin's home.
Did he smoke something or did he come with?
Yeah, smoke something. That was it. There's enough evidence right now, in our legal opinion, to arrest her for a slew of charges.
Ronald Haley and Chase Trishelle are attorneys for Quawan's family. It was their private investigator who recorded this conversation with Irvin and her son. Haley says when Irvin did not call the police until days after Quawan disappeared, she committed a crime.
She knew something was wrong and did nothing. And the fact that she did nothing, it speaks volumes as to what her involvement was in this case.
On November 3rd, Quawan's body was found in a sugarcane field 30 minutes from his home. The coroner's office says he likely drowned, but according to the family's attorney, the water in the sugarcane field is very shallow. They believe if drugs were in Quawan's system, it contributed to his death.
We think the toxicology report is going to vindicate what we're saying today. Janet Irvin could be charged with delinquency to minors, serving minors drugs.
The local sheriff's office says it did not know about this recording and the information was not shared. Quawan's family's attorneys say the sheriff has agreed to meet and they are hoping to compare notes. We did reach out to Janet Irvin, but she has not responded. You know, when we first covered this story, guys, it was a very difficult one. The parents want answers and they just felt like the police, the sheriff's office isn't doing enough.
Well, I couldn't believe at the beginning of this case that the sheriff's department didn't have the technology to track the cell phone. Just such a basic technology to be able to go in there. And now you hear these recordings, it just seems like there's been so many missteps along the way that I have to imagine the mother does want answers.
Okay, so y'all just heard that recording right there. And basically the new information is that Janet Irvin gave Quawan and her son drugs. Now they said drugs, and you know, you can hear her voice throughout the fuzz. She right there, she basically does admit it. She admits that she gave them drugs. And then if you heard the second part, the second voice you heard was the son of Janet Irvin. And he said, when they were asking like what kind of drugs were they using? He said he smoked a little bit of weed. Now, it makes me wonder, was it just weed or was it weed laced with something else? Now, y'all didn't see this because it was a clip where you could see Quawan Charles sitting on the side of the curb. And then all of a sudden he just gets up and he runs to another location. And then all of a sudden he's off the camera or he's off the surveillance. So, yeah. Even with all of that, they're still looking for her. Like they're still warrant out for her arrest. They said that this is more than enough evidence right here. And if y'all remember, in one of the last updates I did involving her, one of the things that got pulled up in her past in her record was her administering like drugs and alcoholic beverages to her kids. Because remember, her son, the one that is with her, is not the only child that she has, which is why she does not have custody of her other kids right now, because the person who she's had children with even said how bad of a mother she is and how she is very neglectful. She's not responsible. She basically acts like she's still a teenager. She doesn't act like a grown woman at all. And she doesn't do what a mother should do as far as being motherly to her children. So when you take into consideration all of that, coupled with this new information and her basically giving Quawan and her son weed, as far as we know, weed, but like I said, it could have been more stuff. It doesn't shock me. But see, the mainstream media does not keep that kind of information in rotation. They don't keep it in circulation. They just, okay, well, here she is. She's unfit. She's not responsible. Boom, there you go. But when you think of all the other information that has come out about her and her past and the stuff that she has done, then it all starts to unravel itself and starts to make sense at the end of the day. That, like I said, that this woman is just no good. Now, like I said, they still said that she still has not been placed under arrest. They said that they're called, and if you want to hear what she says, I get off work at like noon Friday. So we go out to Baldwin. We pick him up. That's one of the first things she says. And then it says, did he smoke something? The investigator can be heard. And it says her son, yeah, he smoked some weed. That was it. Then, of course, they said that when they found him, they said that toxicology said that he drowned, but it had to be more than that because he was in a shallow piece of water where he could not have possibly just went over there and just drowned himself. Somebody or somebody's held his face down into that shallow water. You got to think, why would they run if this was just an accident? They did this. You can't tell me that they did not do this. And the thing is, because she knew that this happened and said nothing, this actually makes her and her son, as far as I'm concerned, look even more guilty in my eyes and in the many eyes of others. But I hope that, going forward, that there's, man, this story here is just, it's crazy. It's really crazy. But I told y'all I was going to stay on top of this. And this is the most recent thing. It's crazy because one of my subscribers had asked me or told me, was there any update about this? And they asked me this about 2 days ago. And who would have thought a day later this would have came out? That actually is what prompted me to go and type his name into Google. Like today, this morning. And this is what came up. But the investigation is still going. They said that Janet Irvin could be charged with delinquency to minors serving minor drugs. They need to, I know that they don't want to increase those charges now because they still don't have her in custody. And they said that they reached out to her and they said that she has not responded. Like this case right here is just, I know, turning the family on its head because it seems like everybody is just so neglectful and everyone's dragging their feet with this case. Like they don't want to solve it at all. That's why a lot of people, including myself, are believing that they are the ones that are involved somehow with this. I wouldn't be shocked, nor would I be surprised. It's just, I couldn't imagine being in that family's position right now. I couldn't. Like, you really want justice and answers for what happened to your loved one. I can't imagine what it's like for his dad or for his mother. Like, this is crazy to know that, you are right there. You had this. It's like you have the evidence, but you just choose to drag your feet with this thing. But this is the latest that I have right now with this case. Hopefully, with this bit of information, they can continue going forward, but they need to get her ass and her son in custody ASAP. Because it's like the longer they drag this out, the longer we're going to continue to be in this position. It's like, y'all have this stuff, just like go get her. And the thing is, I truly believe they know where she is. I think they know where she is, but they're not saying. They're not saying, which makes them even more complicit with this whole entire thing. And harboring a fugitive, because as far as I'm concerned, she's a fugitive of the law, is indeed a crime. But they'll protect that too, because of who she is and who they are. This is going to conclude the update right now involving Quawan Charles. Long awaited update, because the last time I talked about him was just talking about his funeral, and that was about a little over a month ago, and it kind of went quiet. But now we have this new leaked audio, which honestly they should have been put out there, because that means that they interviewed her before she, quote unquote, disappeared. They had this audio, just like with the whole Ahmaud Arbery thing. They had the audio on him. I mean, well, not the audio, that body cam footage since February, and we're just now seeing it like a week ago. They had this audio with Janet Irvin and her son since they went over and spoke with her, or spoke with them early October. When I say early October, I'm talking about before the election. So it was very early October. We're talking about almost 2 months since they've had this audio, and we're just now hearing it. So as far as I'm concerned, they are all involved with this entire situation. They may not have been the ones to have did this to this boy, but they are definitely protecting her and the son that are involved. Remember, this is a very small town where everybody knows everybody for the most part. And they know this woman has a bad history, especially with kids, especially since the kids are her own children. They probably tried to cover that up too. But this is the internet age that we're in. Nothing is really as hidden as one may think. All you got to do is dig. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure y'all have your notifications set to all and have that bell clicked. And I'll talk to you in the next one.